from last game did a lot to keep the LeBlanc down in lane as best she could. And then right on the side of Worcester State's bans, we do have the Gangplank, we have the Zed, and we have the Katarina. So no bans changing up for them, as the Gangplank still is kept out of this game. Now interesting. Look at the champs here. Eclipse does get the Kennen and the Nautilus, so they could be potentially running right back with a similar team comp here on Worcester State side. However, instead of maybe mid lane, or a jungle Pantheon rather. I haven't seen Fixie play Pantheon yet, but like I said, Pantheon has a lot of potential. Meanwhile, on the side of Wentworth, they do have the Jinx, Gragas, and Thresh here. So Jinx being taken away from Little Nat 4. Don't want to let those rockets, don't want to let Jinx get too excited for Worcester State, and instead they did decide to pick it up. But just like last game, they do ban away the Xayah, as well as the Jace and Cassiopeia for Worcester State at this point. So, not too much changing here for Worcester's side or view of things. Most of the bans are all the same, and even their champs selected here are pretty similar. But regardless, looking over what Wentworth have, the Jinx Thresh bot lane here could keep her very safe with that Thresh Lantern. And then the Kai'Sa ban, interesting, okay. So, what does Worcester go for here? Do they go for the support? Do they go for the AD carry? Or not even support, it'd be a mid laner, wouldn't it? Probably gonna go for this AD carry here, since 2 AD carries are banned out already and the AD carry is picked regardless. It doesn't really matter necessarily what AD carry does get picked. I wouldn't be surprised. Well, I was gonna say I wouldn't be surprised if they pull out a Sivir here just for the extra movement speed, but instead they pick a Yasuo. Now, I don't think I've actually ever seen anyone on Worcester State play Yasuo aside from Fixie. At least that was Fixie playing in lane though, not in jungle. So I want to know if this is Ivy playing Yasuo potentially. This is going to be interesting. And then the Malphite. What is this game? A Malphite pickup here from Wentworth. This is going to be really interesting. Getting some extra safety with that massive tank front line from Wentworth. But is that an 80 carry Yasuo? No. Wait, that's an 80 carry Yasuo. That's so an 80 carry Yasuo. It has to be. The Azir? No, they pick a Z. Yeah, oh, and it's an 80 carry Yasuo. That's insane. Okay, I see it. Kong, so apparently Nate plays Yasuo. You gotta tell me these things so I don't look like a moron on stream, my dude. Come on, what are you doing? Really dropping the ball here. But with Yasuo being picked in for the 80 carry, Orianna for some, just overall utility in the mid lane, and just the insane amount of damage that Worcester have over there. They're looking like a pretty solid team comp with multiple knockups for them. Meanwhile, over on the side of Wentworth at this point, give away all my man's secrets, man. That's a secret. I guess that is better to keep a secret like that, because that when you get a Yasuo pick, that's pretty hypey. What doesn't Nate play, man? I don't know, dude. I was expecting him to play Sivir here because, the Kennen Sivir would, just a really good combo, but I got trolled with a Yasuo pick. I guess they're feeling really confident after game one. So, can't say I really blame them. But regardless, with the Yasuo picked up, going to be able to ult off of a lot of things coming out of the rest of his team's combos. But Wentworth now have Malphite, have Gragas, have a huge front line with those two champions that have some extra safety for the Jinx with that Lantern. And then Azir for the wall potentially. So they have a lot of frontline tank potential, as well as some really nice backline damage for Wentworth at this point. So this is kind of an exact separate comp from what Wentworth dropped last game. Last game they needed to do a pick comp where they run down one enemy champion, which they kind of failed to do. But this game, they have a complete team fight comp where they just have a frontline engage, have Jinx and Azir just popping people from the back end, or the back line rather. So two totally different team comps here. And I don't know how it's going to work out. All I know is I see a Yasuo in this game. I've seen Azir in this game. I feel like this is Season 6. I don't know what's going on right now, but we'll have to see how this goes. Now, with a 2-minute spectator delay, we're going to take 2 minutes, and we'll be right back as we wait for this delay to go through. Okay, and we have a quick pause going into the first game. Looks like they're already ready. Just have to fix a keybind or something like that. And here we go. Both teams running it straight down mid, just like my kind of game that I like to see. Looks like my solo queue. They're both going to walk into each other here. They know. They know. Worcester sees Wentworth at this point. The hook does land on a Malphite. That's not necessarily what you want to get. Ignite does go down, forces the flash out of the rock now. 5v5 level 1 brawl here. Deuce Volt taking so much damage, forces the flash, but Thresh is going to pick up the first blood. Now Jinx is running at the enemy team, got excited, doing some damage, taking a lot back, but Wentworth taking that first blood early on, and that is some extra gold for that support with an extra 420 gold in his pocket. So that is already some boots for him. Or depending upon what he wants to get, it looks like he's just going to get an extra pot and wait it out as they run to lane now. Some extra gold in their pocket. That was a pretty good start to this game. Okay, Wentworth picking up that first blood already, sub 1 minute, and he does decide to go for the Ruby Crystal. So he's going to have a little bit more tankiness in lane, a little bit more safety here. And they do get all of their mana back as well, and see how that goes. Now, can you guys just verify the game sounds versus my audio? How is the volume?
It's good.
And just make sure it's good to go. So let me know if it's too loud, too quiet, and I can fix it depending upon what we need. But the game is now underway as all of the laners are in their respective lanes, farming up as best they can. That was an unfortunate missed farm there. Can get some auto attacks. Again, missed the farm. Malphite. Oof, that's a rough one. And pressuring level 2 here as a second minion wave comes out, and Kennen already getting some aggressive auto attacks off on this Malphite. Not letting him get his passive up. Ooh, he actually misses. Arcane Comet does go down. Nice trading back and forth just for the Q out of the Malphite, but as long as he stays in combat, that shield is not going to come back for him. But looks like, the auto attack is going for the minions instead, so he does have that passive backup. That's some extra tankiness, some extra shielding for the Malphite now. And level 2 for the bot lane of Wentworth now. Missing that. It's going to hurt a little bit, but it's not too bad. And Yasuo going to struggle a little bit early game, obviously, because that's what Yasuo does, especially in the bot lane. But Eclipse just bullying this Malphite, doing so much damage to him early on, and that's to be expected in a melee range matchup, so nothing too crazy there, but that just feels so bad, taking so much damage so early. And now Gragas is working his way topside as level 3, does have the body slam available if he wants to go for something crazy. Pantheon goes in the mid lane, gets the stun and the spears. I don't even remember what that's called anymore. Is the red buff going to do a little bit of damage to Nico, but not too much, as he does get out of that relatively fine. And with that minion wave pushing into the bot lane, no relic shield charges left for him. Lil Nat 4 should be able to farm up at least a little bit of this, just with his Qs and whatnot. Should at least get some gold in his pocket at this point. Now, jungler coming in. Gragas does have it. Flash, body slam goes through. Ivy flash, trading the flash for the Gragas as well. Trying to trade back a little bit. Pantheon coming back in. Does still have the red buff available. Now, Gragas is here, going back in. Does not see Fixie coming in with Pantheon doing some damage back and forth, but Fixie doing a lot of damage. Pantheon's so annoying with that extra shield that he just got from that rework, and they do trade flashes in the mid lane back and forth, so look to see some more aggressive plays in the mid lane from Gragas here, as Ivy does not have her flash available at this point in time. Oh, no. And looking back across the map, just straight up across, bot lane pushing in the side of Worcester now, getting some farm up. Nautilus and Yasuo are doing a little bit better here in this farm differential. Not too bad, but Wentworth have good setup here to potentially hold this as best they can. But Fixie and Boom are going to meet each other. The stun goes through, flash over the wall, gets the kill. That was a lot of damage from just one Q right there, but Fixie does pick up his first blood of the game. And if I recall, last game, Kha'Zix, or Fixie on this Kha'Zix, was kind of the main reason for the success of their first game. So if Fixie gets ahead, I'm not sure if Pantheon's too similar to Kha'Zix, but he is definitely an earlier game champion that if you let him snowball, he's like I said, would describe as a pub stomper champ. So hopefully Wentworth can control that a little bit and You know, not let that one kill blossom into 5 kills or 7 kills like they did last game with Kha'Zix, but things going down now. Malphite is missing. He did back, so Kennen's pinging it back. TP is coming back out to get back to lane pretty quickly, so he doesn't miss too much farm there, but still, he is down already 11 CS in the lane at this point in time, which Malphite to Kennen isn't a huge deal because that's generally what Malphite does comparatively to a range matchup like that, but still feels pretty bad when you're down 10 CS at 5 minutes, 6 minutes. Oof, that hook does not land. Gragas is in the bot lane here, potentially going for a lane gank, but with Froppel and Igneous Knight pushing out bot lane, there's not much for them to do as Lat 4 and Deuce Vault know that something's fishy and they can't really push up too much farther. It's too risky for them. Both junglers are meeting in the jungle here, and the mid laners, the entire teams are actually coming down, aside from the top lane now, prepping for this potential dragon here, doing a little bit of damage to Azir now, trading up at the top. The hook does land on Nautilus now, does get the knockback. Nilnat Ford is here, does not have his ultimate. The wind wall does hit 3 members, but Pantheon taking a lot of damage with that ignite, goes down. Froppel picks up that kill. Vixie's down now, and Mompoon picks up Deuce Vault now. Kennen comes in, does get 2-man stun with the Orion ultimate. Huge wombo combo, but with that whirlwind over the wall, Yasuo is going to pick up his first kill of the game. And that was a 3 for 2, it looked like, in favor... No, 3 for... Is that a 3? No, a 3 for 2 in favor of Worcester State. But still, relatively even game. They did pick off Fixie at that point, and Jinx did get an earlier kill, so not too bad. It's actually probably pretty decent for them since Jinx got that early BF sword at this point. You just got to be really careful with that Nautilus, Yasuo bot lane. If they get a hook on you, you're probably in a lot of trouble here. So I'm hearing some screamings of nice from Wentworth now, so I'm assuming something just happened that's interesting, and we'll have to look in 3 minutes. But that Kennen Orianna wombo combo, that double Kennen Orianna ultimate is pretty nuts. I didn't even talk about that yet, but that was huge to turn that team fight around and get 3 kills in the end. So very nicely done, very well organized from Worcester here, as Wentworth try to push out this bot lane, try to collect their farm as best they can, and this game's pretty even for the most part. Much different from last game where we had a couple thousand gold difference by this time. So with a large minion wave building up, Wentworth trying to push into tower. Honestly, not many tower plates have gone down at this point in time. 8 minutes in, so pretty even overall. Not too surprising, but we'll have to see how this goes depending upon where these junglers want to take their next walks. As Gragas is topside and Pantheon is mid lane. That doesn't look like that's going to amount to much, as both the laners and the junglers are out of their respective lanes. Yeah, look at that. Poke damage in the Azir. That's kind of funny thinking about Orianna poking out the Azir and trying to do what they can. Pantheon is in this brush, goes for the shuffle potentially. No, I just want to go for it. The body slam does miss. Orianna ultimate goes down onto Gragas, gets a lot of damage, but that Gragas ultimate is going to prevent them from following that up. Very nicely done from Boom SB to prevent that from going down. Lightning Rush now going forward onto Malphite, but does not want to go for it. Does have the ultimate available, but doesn't feel like he has the damage to take him down just yet. Meanwhile, Fixie is moving potentially topside here with no wards on the side of Wentworth right now, but he decides he doesn't want to go for it now. Eclipse does still have that ultimate, and Malphite is relatively low at this point, but Malphite's going to be able to back and stay safe and doesn't want to take too much risk there, as didn't see eyes on the enemy jungler. Azir goes in for the shuffle. Oh, the minion's going to prevent that from happening as Orianna's walking away. That one minion preventing that one tower shot, and Azir being low on mana means that he's not going to be able to get too much more from that, and she's just going to awkwardly walk away, keeping her flash intact, as both mid laners, ultimates down, still have their flashes available. But Ken is going to shove this in. Pantheon coming from the backside. I don't know. Tried to go for the Azir, but just a little too late, as Azir did get back in time. Gragas is there now, trying to go for a bot lane gank here, doing what he can. Goes in, the hook play does land, the whirlwind does land onto Gragas. Ultimate comes down from Yasuo. Ignite, body slam goes through. Yasuo taking so much damage, but again, Thresh is going to pick up the kill. Now, Kennen does have ultimate still available, goes for the 1v1 fight against Malphite, but he just barely doesn't have enough damage. Malphite almost won that, but just did not have the cooldowns available. Flash goes in for the cannon, and No Handles gets the one clap slap onto the cannon, and he goes down in the 1v1. That's nuts. Okay, that's not what I expected, but he does pick it up. Meanwhile, Wentworth looking to pick up this first Drake here. Potentially could be a huge one with it being Infernal. A lot of extra damage early on. 10 minutes into this game means extra dragons could come into play later on. But 2 kills on this support now. Feels kind of bad for the Jinx, but that's just kind of how the game goes sometimes. Is both of the lanes go back to farming. Beautiful flash body slam from Gragas, and then the ultimate from Orianna to kind of trade the kill back. But Flash is traded for the Gragas, Flash traded on Orianna, and meanwhile, while she did get the return kill on the jungler, Azir's going to be able to push this tower a little bit of damage and get some free farm here, as well as get some extra experience. Yasuo goes in, Zap just barely misses, and with the wind wall, means he's going to be pretty safe from any extra poke damage now. Jinx, Thresh trying to defend this tower now, and it doesn't look like Worcester want to try anything funny here. No funny businesses. Both of the junglers are looking topside. Pantheon is walking there, as well as Gragas potentially as well, looking through that tri-brush. Actually, I want to move this so it doesn't appear. It's the best I can do. Best I can do. Okay. Alright. Just returning to standard farming lanes. Nothing too crazy happening as of yet. 12 minutes into the game. Gold lead is really minimal still, but going in for a slight trade with Malphite and that passive. Getting a decent trade there. Nothing too crazy, but he does have that Q and that Comet to do a little bit of extra poke damage to Kennen. Try and whittle him down the lane, do the best he can, but now Fixie is bot side watching him, as is Gragas, clearing out those Krugs, getting his red buff next potentially too, so we'll have to see where they decide to go at this point. All of the ultimates are available on the side of Worcester almost, probably about another 10 seconds before Fixie's is available, and we'll have to see where he does decide to go with it. Fixie is mid lane, he is warded out and does clear that ward away, but no handles as well. Malphite slapping down that ward, keeping Orianna safe. Meanwhile, though, Kennen is allowed free farm to push that into tower. And honestly, Malphite's done a very good job of, you know, clearing up this farm differential in the top side, as has every other lane. It's very even across the board in terms of farm. The only real difference in gold here is going to be that one, or that extra couple of kill, or that one extra kill rather on Wentworth's side. But even still, pretty much the turrets are nearly identical. Kills are pretty even, and this is looking to be a much more even kill game than the last one was. Yep, Fixie's picking up his red buff, does have his ultimate available now. Kennen as well just barely has his ultimate available in another minute or so. 3 members from Wentworth are topside. Ping's coming down from Worcester to prevent that from happening, letting Kennen know that he is not safe. We're going to pushing in the mid lane, and again, that was a very nicely done, very nicely warded, and very nicely set back from Worcester. Now, going in onto Malphite, lots of damage. TP is coming down from Azir, but it might be too little too late. Gragas comes in, but Azir's on the backside. Kennen doesn't have any ultimates left. Shuffle potentially going through. Dissonance does not land on anyone, and he does get the kill onto Kennen, but meanwhile, Orianna is going to pick Gragas up on the backside. Azir gets stunned under his own tower. The Azir shuffle knocks 2 of them under the tower, but just not going to be enough amount of damage. And now there's fight in the bot side. The hook ultimate onto the Thresh, doing a lot of damage, but the knockup's not there. Yasuo does not have the reach, cannot get the damage onto it, because that tower is still too close out. The range on that tower doing so much, but flashing under the tower with the heal. I'm not necessarily sure the flash, or the heal rather, was necessary, but really, really aggressive trading in the bot side. Yasuo still does have his flash available, but other than that, every other summoner spell is expended at the bot side of the map. Crazy fighting back and forth, quite honestly, from both of these teams. With Infernal Drake spawning in a bit, 50 seconds or so, we'll have to see if they do decide to go bot side, as Fixie does have his ultimate available for some crazy cross-map plays here. As well as Kennen does have, or is mid lane right now, but they are diving in under the tower with the ultimate, like I just said. Now Jinx is too little too late from this world, and while he do pick up a kill, They do get the double kill on bot side. Gragas here, nice whirlwind, prevents Gragas from getting the kill on Nautilus, but not going to matter too much as that one dash into tower. Almost had some fancy feet, but just barely on the cusp of that tower range. It means Yasuo is going to fall as well. And that's a 2 kill for 2 kills for both teams now trading back and forth. Again, 15 minutes in, within 1,000 gold of each other. These teams just keep trading back and forth, trading these kills back and forth. Back to the farm game, though, as Azir's doing what he can to keep this tower safe. As most of the, honestly, plates, there's only a couple plates taken in this entire game, so no extra real gold happening from much of that. So much damage. Oh, that just barely missed Azir. If that had hit, he'd probably be gone. Meanwhile, Malphite's having a slap fight with this turret. He goes for the Q, gets a free tower shot on him, but Malphite's already got that Glacial Shroud. He's already got those Ninja Tabby. Orianna, though, walking into 2 members of Wentworth. So much damage. He is in trouble. Forced the flash, though. She does survive. TP is coming out. The screen froze. I can't see what's going on. Okay, there we go. TP's come out, and they just walk away. I was getting hyped. I was like, the screen froze. Something cool is going to happen. And then it froze and nothing. And they just kind of walked away. But second Infernal Drake now in this game, 16 minutes in. Wentworth could take their second Infernal here. A very big difference from the last game where Worcester had every dragon that spawned. So 2 Drakes, that is a lot of increased attack damage, or attack power, or ability power at this point. And the longer this game goes, the better that's going to get. Especially, honestly, with a Jinx, that's going to be insane amounts of damage. So we'll have to see how that's going to go through, but bot lane now pushing in for Wentworth, and honestly, this has been a really back and forth game. 17 minutes in, still within 500 gold practically, and not much more I can say other than that is this Yasuo is working out relatively decently. It hasn't done too poorly, and against this Jinx Thresh, I can only imagine how it's going to go later game, but they kind of actually switched roles. They want to just jump on the carries on the backside for Worcester as opposed to how they wanted to do it last game, but Nautilus going for the ultimate onto Gragas to try and prevent them from going hard on the engage and bot side, and with Fixie mid lane potentially forcing some aggression there, Gragas is working his way up to try and prevent any extra push potential there as Fixie decides he's going to go clear a ward. Oh, again, something happened for Wentworth. Trading again. Azir gets the 1 Q from the soldier, doing a little bit of damage, but Orianna just has so much poke with that Luden's Echo. So much extra damage that Azir necessarily doesn't have yet because he's got that Nashers right now. But picking up their next buffs as the junglers. Pixie's going to pick up that blue buff. Gragas is going to spot out Kennen. Yeah, Jinx will clear this pretty easily. She does have that BF. She's got that pickaxe as well as that Zeal item. She's good to go at this point in the game, and as soon as she finishes that first item, she's going to be pretty scary. Meanwhile, on the side of Worcester State, that static shiv picked up by Fixie, or not Fixie, I'm sorry, Lil Nat 4 rather, is going to do a good amount of damage with that extra crit potential from Yasuo. So, again, I'm really curious to see how this Yasuo is going to play out in the later game, or mid game here, because once they get out of lane, there's a lot of potential. Both junglers, however, find themselves in the top lane. Oh, the flash ultimate doesn't hit anyone. That feels so bad from Malphite. And Gragas is going to use his ultimate to try and get away, but with the lightning rush there, I'm not sure he can do much. Azir is there for the shuffle, potentially, and the tower knockdown. Oh, the wall misses. That feels pretty bad as he tries to get what he can on the backside, but it's just not going to be enough as both Fixie and Eclipse get out. Oh, the ultimate coming down from Fixie, forcing him away from the tower, and now he is in a bit of trouble being forced away from his tower, and Fixie's going to pick up the 4th kill for this Pantheon now, and that is pretty good for the side of Worcester having 4 kills on a Pantheon. Man, but that was a terrible, that ultimate from Malphite felt so bad. Flashed away, ulted back in, that was pretty painful to watch, as I'm sure No Handlers felt that one. Even still, though, that tower goes down in the mid lane, and Worcester is pushing on every front, really. Gragas is here, does have it. The hook does land, and Everything is available to get this Nautilus. Looks like there's going to be a trade back. The hook. Oh, the flash hook keeps Nautilus safe. And now they're trading it back, forcing the flash out of Froppel. Jinx just barely alive now, and Oriana is here. That Force going in for some crazy stuff. Does land the Whirlwind, but doesn't have it. The Dissonance, so the ultimate comes down, as well as that Yasuo ult comes through on the back end and trade 2 kills for 1 for Worcester State. This is some team synergy right here. That's the synergy that I'm talking about, that Worcester team has been playing together for quite a while now, honestly. That synergy has done very well for them, and while I say that Deuce Vault falls for a tower that they thought they could get that just has a sliver of health, feels pretty bad, but overall, you get what I'm saying. Who needs ultimates, man? That's a good question, but I feel like Worcester needed them ultimates. Oh, can he get that tower? No, he doesn't have it. No attack speed. Oh, he goes for it. Azir goes in, just barely misses the shovel, but the Jinx rocket from downtown is going to pick up the kill onto Eclipse. So nicely done. They save that tower with just a sliver of health, and they do pick up a kill on the back end.
Get it.
Get it. TP's coming out from Ivy to prevent this tower from going down now. Get some wave clear available with the Loot and Zeko proc. Easy peasy. And meanwhile, pings on. The Cloud Drake are going down. Wentworth has 2 dragons to none on side of Worcester at this point. And Worcester aren't in a good spot to contest this with Lil Nat 4 up in the top side. They're running their way down, but 2 Infernals is a lot of extra damage. The hook lands on to Nautilus. Not necessarily who you want to hit, but I mean, that is still a lot of damage to this support. Gragassalt's going to knock through the entire enemy team. Meanwhile, Fixie ults in Grand Entrance right through the entirety of Wentworth. And Jinx at the backside is going to do what she can, but it's not going to be enough as 2 members of Wentworth fall just for the Nautilus support. Meanwhile, this dragon is now available, and Fixie is pretty much full health, along with Eclipse, who does have his ultimate available as well. So this could be a Cloud Drake contest here, as Gragas, while he doesn't have his ultimate, does have his Body Slam Smite. Although I'm not sure I'd want to risk that just for a Cloud Drake, but we'll have to see what Wentworth decide to do here. Is they pull the Drake out. Wentworth don't have any vision of this. Oh, no, they don't have any vision. They have a 1 pink ward. So they know that they're not going for it. Greg goes over the wall, trying to do what he can, see what's going on. They are doing this dragon, doing a little bit of damage to it, so Gragas is in a bad spot. Yeah, that looked pretty rough. They just get the stun auto, bada bing, bada boom. Gragas goes down, and now that's a Cloud Drake for Worcester State at this point, and that's the first dragon for Worcester now, as Wentworth's trying to pick up what they just lost here, as Worcester is pushing into the mid lane, trying to work together as a team. Baron is up and available, although since there are no mountains in this game, it might be a little bit early to say that, but it is always on the forefront of someone's mind when you're in a game like this, especially with no vision. That hook, meanwhile, keeping Nautilus safe, and again, taking a look at the scoreline, this game, while it's not the same game as it was, 5-10 minutes ago, the scoreline being only about 4,000 gold difference isn't huge, quite honestly. The game itself last time was ballooned to about 12,000 by the end of it, so I think that was about a 30-40 minute game too, so that has a potential, but I think this game could go a lot longer than last one if this game continues out as it is. But again, I want to see Yasuo in a team fight. I don't want to see him in a skirmish. I want to see how this guy is going to work and how this Worcester's comp is going to happen, because I actually think that Wentworth's team comp is just relatively easier to pull off, because all they have to do is keep Jinx safe. They have to keep Yasuo and Kennen away from Jinx, and they have a lot of tools to do that with the Azir wall, with the Azir ultimate, with the Gragas barrel, with the Malphite ultimate. They have a lot of movement, a lot of CC, a lot of utility for their team. So I wonder how this is going to go the later this game goes, because Jinx Azir is a very high scaling damage late game team comp. But look at all the wards on the top side now. Wentworth have so many wards near that Baron pit, and Worcester have one in the pit itself. No more else, or no other wards anywhere else. But having that vision on the Baron means that no Baron sneaks, nothing crazy like that's happening, and Wentworth's doing what they can to try and keep the pressure up with all of this vision control. Worcester trying to wrestle whatever control back they can. And Baron looks like the name of the game, as Eclipse does have teleport available as does No Handles, but with Eclipse pushing bot lane, yeah, Wentworth want to try and death rush this, but there's no reason for Worcester to push into that. Cannon's just going to split push bot lane. There's no reason to push into that. Ooh, a little bit of trading there. They do spot them out. Now, yeah, look at that. That's a free tower for Kennen at that point. That's a free kill on that tower. Free extra gold. Pantheon ultimate. So that's good. The Pantheon ult doesn't go through all of Wentworth, so that's an ultimate down. But Kennen still has TP available, still has ultimate available, still split pushing bot lane. Jinx is not the person you want to go to deal with Kennen by herself. And while Wentworth decide they have to deal with this Kennen now, they're leaving themselves open to this potential Baron. Beautiful ultimate picks off Azir there, following up with a Yasuo ultimate as well. And with that, a member, giant damage member from Wentworth down. It looks like Worcester are going to get a Baron here for relatively free. Again, it's only 26 minutes into this game. Not a huge amount of damage yet for either side. Kennen is here, does have the TP available. If Wentworth decide to push in on this too hard, Kennen does have TP available. And he does go. He's from the backside. Here he comes. Does have ultimate flash over the wall. Fromple goes down. Ultimate comes in. Does what it can, but stunning onto the AD carry, stunning onto Thresh as well. Meanwhile, Malphite goes in, try to do what he can with that ultimate unstoppable force, but he just doesn't have the damage, does not have the tankiness, and Worcester walk away without a Baron, but with a couple extra kills in their pocket. Gragas is on the backside too, trying to do what he can, potentially steal a Baron, but he does get spotted out by Pantheon here. Kennen now trying to go for the stun, forces the flash out of Gragas, and that looks like Gragas is going to be in a whole heap of trouble as Worcester are going to try to finish this Baron up. Now, Azir is here, does have his ultimate available. That Baron isn't going down fast enough. Gragas is still available. Azir is here. This could go. Yasuo does hit on the Gragas, does not have a smite available now. Azir does not decide to go in. He did have his ultimate, but it looks like it's just a little too late. Fixie does take a lot of damage, but in the end does go down to the Azir. And while that is one member without Baron, that is a pretty scary looking team to be staring down when they start running down mid lane. Give him the old razzle dazzle.
I like that. I like that a lot.
The old razzle dazzle. You never expect it.
No. Same with the shake and bake.
Just like it. Nothing like the shake and bake. Oh. But now with Baron on the side of Worcester State, it looks like Cloud Drake is the next objective here, as Ward's coming down for this bot side Drake. Azir goes in, does not quite get the shuffle. Just barely out of range. Yeah, Wentworth picking this up. They have so much damage with the Azir, with the Jinx, a lot. Yeah, that's another Drake over, but still not too much loss for Worcester, as they do still have that Baron available, with the only outer tower left to take being topside. Orianna is pushing it. She does have TP if she needs to use it, however.
Still pretty even gold.
Yeah, it's only about 2,000, 3,000 gold difference. Still pretty even. Oh, no, that's not 2,000. That's 8,000, 7,000. Never mind, not even. Sorry.
That's hard.
Again, math. We went through math. I said math on... Don't ever do math live. It's never good. Never good. But with that Baron right there, man, this is going to be pretty rough for Wentworth to hold off. All Worcester has to do is just get a nice engage here, and this is it. Because they just kill Jinx, they kill Azir. There's no more damage on the side of Wentworth. Nothing else to be afraid of, especially with those Baron minions. I wouldn't be surprised to just see them kind of clump 5 and go for a fight, quite honestly, just because they're so much stronger at this point in the game.
It's going to be tough.
Whoop.
Something happened.
Something happened. I just heard some screaming in the background, so something definitely happened. Hook does land on the Pantheon. Nice snare. The Gragas ult and the anti-synergy with the Chompas, but regardless, Jinx is going to pick up the kill onto Pantheon. Little bit of an overextension there by himself. Did not expect all that damage in that hook to land. So nice hook from the Thresh. Going to get one kill back and one Baron. Actually, he didn't even have Baron on him. He died again anyways. That's kind of funny. He died twice within the time of the Baron buff. That's actually hysterical. Regardless now, with that extra kill, a little bit of pressure relieved, and it looks like Wentworth are going to actually hold this outer ring of towers here. Yeah, Baron's about to be up. having those towers not fall is a huge boon for Wentworth now.
Oh, more yelling.
Again, something happened. More yelling, but
Turks are being 2 feet away.
yeah, this is what happens. I get a little preview of what happens like 3 minutes in the future, right? So 30 minutes in, I bet something really cool is going to happen. Bada bing in 3 minutes.
Hopefully.
All right, here we go. Back into this game. Baron's about to fall off. Worcester, again, not able to crack that inhibitor tower line. Moving
hard.
back out on the map. They're pushing hard, doing what they can. Nautilus, Yasuo by themselves in this mid lane. Azir does have the Shurima Shuffle if he needs it. So, picking up that red buff for the Pantheon. Now, before this happens, let's take a look at these ultimates. Every team member, aside from the Thresh, has ultimates available. Every team member on the side of Worcester, except for Fixie, has their Flash and other summoner spells available. So, this could be pretty big for the side of Worcester State, but Jinx has her 3 core items, Runan's, Rapid Fire, and Infinity Edge. She has all the damage she needs. Azir got the Nashers, got the Morellos, got those Sork Boots. He's doing a lot of damage now, as well as the front line. Got the Randuins, got the Abyssal Mask, got the extra armor from the Ninja Tabby. They have the front line. Now it's just a matter of getting the fight that they need. They need a fight on their terms. They need a 5v5 front line. Protect for those Azirs, protection for that Jinx 80 carry. Now, this could be a potential fight here. 5 members mid for Wentworth and Pantheon splitting top side. Looking back, not going for a fight yet. Kind of doing that little bit of a dance between this mid lane inhibitor now. Azir clearing those waves easy with just Jinx. They can clear waves for days. Something's going to have to happen. Pantheon does have his ultimate if they do decide to engage, but Pantheon being the top side means that Wentworth's going to have to split off potentially. No, they aren't. They aren't even doing it. They're just holding this mid lane. Something's going to happen. This is happening on a knife's edge, man. Pantheon's coming in. Does get the stun onto Malphite. The hook does not land. Azir turret goes down. Oh, the knockback on the Pantheon is huge. Just a lot of damage to him. Doesn't go down yet, but Azir's on the backside getting a lot of damage. Eclipse goes in. Only stuns 1. The tower's still doing so much damage. The Jinx Rocket goes through, hits the entire team. Eclipse taking so much damage, and while the distance doesn't do much, that Malphite knockup hits the entire enemy backline. Beautiful shuffle takes the entire team.
Wow.
That's what I've been talking about the entire game. That's what Wentworth needed to do this entire game, and they finally get it 32 minutes into the game. 5 men pushing down mid lane. No Baron up, but 30 seconds on each member of the enemy team, and I think this is game, man.
If anything was a razzle-dazzle, it was that moment right there.
Yeah, that looked like it was going to be a pretty even back and forth fight that was going to go on for a while, but that was...
That's going to be game.
That shuffle, dude, that was so... Oh. And Wentworth, they're just going to shove down this mid lane, and 10 seconds left on Eclipse. There's not much they can do. Jinx and Azir shred down these towers, and 33 minutes in, Wentworth say, hey, buddy, we got a series, and they take down Worcester in game 2. What the? That was nuts. I would never have expected that.
What a turn of events.
Where's that sound box? Where's that sound app? All right. We're going to take another quick break. And not reset. I think our stream set's good. We're going to reassess my life, and we'll be right back. So thank you very much for watching. We'll be right back with Game 3 in about 10 minutes.